Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to have a look at altcoins overall with a total 1, 2, 3, Bitcoin dominance, others, and we can also recognize that SHIB has now created a trend signal. It's the first altcoin that I follow that's actually completed the trend signal. So before we begin, just to let you know, I've halved the price of the middle tier for the Patreon. So if you want to join that, I'm going to keep it half price for the rest of this year. Because I strongly believe that this period now is a very pivotal might be a bit strong of a word, but my belief is that we've got another 12 months in this market. Sort of roughly, I'm looking to exit or start to significantly exit around September next year, which means we've got a good 12 months left. 12 months left of bull market, and it's usually the better part of the bull market is the last 12 months. And since everything is generally quite low at the moment, or what I consider to be low prices, this might be the last chance to really allocate for those 12-month hodls. So yeah, if you want to join the Patreon, obviously the link's in the description below, but the middle tier, which gives you access to me on Telegrams, direct messages and things like that, at all times of the day and night, that is now half price until January. Right, so let's get stuck in. So yesterday we were talking about those trend signals forming on the on certain altcoins. Now we're not getting that on we're not getting that on the total 2 or anything like that, but we're getting quite close. The total 3 is getting closer, but the one that's really close is others, which is excluding the top 10 of altcoins. You've got the conversion baseline really getting quite close here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave a link in the video floating around somewhere which shows you the tutorial of what it is that I'm talking about to play the itchy cloud. But in long story short, if you get a positive cross above the cloud with the conversion baseline, you get price action above the cloud as well, and the GQ span above the price action. That's a trend signal. Then you enter the trade, and then you exit the trade when you have a negative cross, conversion baseline cross, or the GQ span closes in the price. Again, I'll leave a tutorial floating around so you can see it. So it's a really good signal once we get it. And there's one coin that has actually confirmed it. I put it on Twitter last night. It is SHIB. So SHIB has now got a perfectly nice conversion baseline cross above the cloud. Obviously the price action is above the cloud, and the GQ span is now floating above the price action. So as far as the itchy cloud, this way of playing it suggests that a trend is in play, and you will exit the trade when you either get a negative cross or the GQ span closing the price. See, wherever that takes place. It could take place from much higher, much later down the line. So yeah, it looks like a good trade to me. Now that is good. For some reason, Ethereum is the only one that's staying green. We're looking at this on the 4 hourly. We're pushing up into a death cross retest like we did over here. If you break end outside of that 200 exponential on the 4 hourly, price being 2,500, build a base above there, that to me looks like it's ready to start moving back up to areas lost, and then new areas on the daily, and so on and so on. So the top areas on the daily is going to be 2,800, 3,000 basically, and so we also have a break of the trend of the money flow index. So money is coming into Ethereum, and it's not reflected on the price yet, but there is certainly a shift in volume. Sometimes, I'm sure you've noticed it, but volume comes before price, and there'll be an outbalance of buyers versus sellers, and we will see areas get broken, and we will see an uptrend. So we're seeing clues now that Ethereum might be able to pick its socks up and actually move up for a change. There's lots of people on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, I see saying, "Oh, Ethereum is dead. It's dead, don't you know? It's dead." Well, it might be dead. It might be dead. I mean, I can tell you, what was it? UST is dead. Luna C, you would argue, is dead. But they still get traded, and they still move up when the setups are appropriate. You don't catch me trading those coins, so they really are dead. But you know, to write off something like Ethereum, oh, it's a failed project, man. Look, a chart is a chart. Anyway, so that will be that. Looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart, we had that major top over here around 58.5% dominance, where we were assuming an alt season could take place. We certainly got some alt rallies, but after that it sort of bounced and maintained closures above the 50 exponential. Now if you close below here, the next target is down here around 56. Now we did have all this bearish divergence which marks that peak. Now you've got hidden bearish divergence on the money flow index. This is all just on the daily. Weekly, you've got bearish divergence as well, leading into these sort of peaks. This will also be another bearish divergence peak if we were to get that closure. And over onto the monthly, you've got hidden bearish divergence on the monthly as well. So there's a lot of evidence for a pullback to take place at any point. A pullback would equate to alt season of some description. Now stocks are still good. You know, the US 500, well, S&P, making new all-time highs. I expect to see new all-time highs, maybe even as soon as next week on the Nasdaq. You know, that was my expectation, and we do seem to be heading in that direction. Obviously, don't forget that we do have a lot of bearish divergence on it as well. So when you do have to monitor each chart. Nothing goes straight up forever. Nothing goes straight down forever. There is evidence for a pullback. But these pullbacks, in my opinion, should be bought up. You know, this has a trend signal of its own that we've recognised. That trend signal is absolutely appropriate. Look, trend signal, trend. You know, when do you exit the trend? When we get a negative cross or the cheeky span closes in the price action. So you trust the indicator. If it's one that you do trust, I trust this one to a large extent, and we can see that since the trend signal kicked in, we have a trend, a breakout, and a trend. So things are looking really good, I have to say. And look, you know, Sundays are normally a bit of a lame day. If you have a very green bullish Sunday, then you really are looking for a very bullish week. So it's not unsurprising to see a pullback or a bit of a red day on Sunday. That's kind of normal. But moving into next week, we have to obviously monitor the situation, as you know, day by day, bit by bit. But I described the alt seasons as part of a gearbox, right? So we've had first gear. You could make the case it was still in first gear, really. So to move into second gear, we need to see a higher high and a higher low. So you may have already seen the higher low on the total 2. Now we're looking for a higher high. And a higher high on the total 2 could easily break outside of this giant consolidation trend line, one that we've been waiting to see break for a long time. And then that would easily bring us into second gear. Third gear would when you'll be getting moving averages crossing up into the right places. So silver crosses, golden crosses, trend signals, all those sort of things. So you now at that point will have bullish signals and setups, which will allow for more risk-averse people to enter the trades, because the charts, well, like I say, the charts have a greater degree of success when they flash these bullish signals. And then fourth and fifth and sixth gear is where we see the parabolic runs, where people are basically feel like they've missed out, and then they FOMO in, and that creates a huge imbalance in the chart, where they decide that at that point they have to sort of pump and then crash usually. So that's where we go. So I believe we're between first and second gear right now. Third gear will be really good for a lot bigger move, and then fourth and fifth gear, sixth gear maybe even goes parabolic. So we're still very early. But by being early, you have to accept that you may be wrong. So like I say, I predicted the first gear, so I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm right, obviously. But now we do need to see a higher high get formed in the form of that second gear. Right, so I'm going to leave with you there. But feel free to join the Patreon, links in the description below, Telegram as well, and alternatively, I just hope you have a nice Sunday, and take it easy.